So what is happening, people? Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not out on the lake today fishing, but I do have something very special for you today. I had the opportunity back early in the summer to go fishing with Dennis Gilmer. Fishing Lake Country is his YouTube channel, and Lake Country Baits is the baits website that he sells baits on. Check him out. And anyway, Dennis is set up with LiveScope on his boat just like I am. He has a different trolling motor than I do. He has a different screen than I do, but we both fish LiveScope. And so I took the opportunity to film how Dennis has his LiveScope set up, the differences of how mine is set up, how his is set up. And I think this video will help you. If you're interested in setting up LiveScope on your boat, if that's something that you've been wanting to do, this is the opportunity on this video for you to see how it's set up two different ways, totally two different ways. Dennis's fishing style is very similar to my fishing style with, you know, just a few subtle differences. But this may answer a lot of questions for you. I wish this video would have been out there when I bought my LiveScope and set it up on my boat, and it would have answered a lot of questions for me quickly. So while you're at it, hit the subscribe button below. Subscribe to the channel. That really helps my channel out. And so this video today that you're watching will be my 300th video. If you're interested in catching crappie, go back and look at a lot of my videos, and I'll go through and show you habitat, lure presentation, how to fish docks, how to fish deep structure, so you can learn to crappie fish watching this channel. Anyway, take a look at this video. I do two different clips. We fished early in the summer with Dennis, and I filmed how his was set up. We'll do that first, and then we'll jump over and we'll do the video when I was fishing one day, and I go over exactly how mine is set up. Hey, and I hope this video helps you out there, answer some questions if you're interested in putting LiveScope on your boat, or you're just having difficulties dialing in your live. So hey guys, let's get right to the video. So you see here, this is the mind your way, I can go on this side so you can fish. Go ahead. That is, you know, the Minn Kota, that Ultrex there. It's got that spot lock, and you know, a lot of differences is mine. If I was sitting here fishing the same dock, just like Dennis is doing here, he repositioned the boat so he could cast under that shadow line right there. That's where the fish is kind of hanging out. And you can see, since this is on spotlight, this is constantly moving. Unlike my trolling motor, and here's a clip of my trolling motor, I'm doing it with my foot, and I'm just moving and I'm scanning LiveScope because my LiveScope is on the foot here. Here, Dennis's LiveScope is here. It's pretty handy. You just take your hand, move it to the side, and you know, you can point it wherever this handle's pointing. Again, is right to the dock here, and you can look here. He's got his LiveScope up. It looks like out towards the end there, Dennis.
Have they moved?
They right up under that middle one, looks like. That's the way it's pointed, right up under that black light where they were earlier.
Yeah, they moved.
And you know, another thing on the LiveScope, you see Dennis has a mount. Did you make that, Dennis, or
No,
did you
I
buy
bought
that commercial?
It's
okay.
Fishing Specialties.
Fishing Specialties.
Yeah, that's right on there.
Okay, boom, there it is. Fishing Specialties. And then Dennis has a mount here, and on this side, do they come as a set?
No.
Okay, so you buy them separate. So the reason Dennis did that is so it make it convenient so he can move the LiveScope from this side to this side of the boat. Now these are some things to consider when you're setting up your LiveScope. And he has a taller mount, and this one is Dennis, a friend of Dennis has made this.
A machinist friend of mine made that for me.
But you can get them commercially that raise up, that lower down, and it just puts the screen up much higher than say what mine is. And I haven't actually bought one of those yet. So that's just some of the differences of how you would set. Let me do it this way. So that's just some of the differences. Different boat owners, different trolling motors, different setups for LiveScope. Is all these things that you have to consider when you're buying LiveScope, is how it's going to set up on your boat. And look, every fisherman is different. Every fisherman needs the ability to be able to set their boat up to their fishing style. Now, me and Dennis' fishing style is fairly similar, and I have been considering a spot lock on my boat, but I've also considered, I use a lot of LiveScope and how I want to use that LiveScope. And we'll talk about a couple of things that you can do in this next clip to set your boat up like you want. So, you know, in that last clip I was showing you how Dennis has his LiveScope set up. Now, I'll show you two different ways. The way Dennis had his set up, the way I have mine set up is different. I have a Minn Kota Edge trolling motor. It is foot controlled here, and I have my LiveScope eye on the shaft of the trolling motor. Now, I could have mounted it here, but I have broken them off the bottom hitting rocks and stuff, so I chose to mount this about 12 inches on the shaft. Now, by putting it on the shaft, that, you know, you could still damage it, but it's a lot less chance. So let me show you how I know which way this thing is looking. So if you look at that arrow on the top, I will turn it like this. I know that my LiveScope is looking left to right or even behind me. That allows me, if I'm drifting around, I can move my foot pedal without running the pedal or powering the head of the trolling motor, and I can keep up with the fish. A lot of times if I'm drifting along, I'm just scanning like this. So Dennis's trolling motor has spot lock on it. So when he sets that spot lock, if you have spot lock on your trolling motor, you can't really put that LiveScope eye on your shaft or on it, because it's going to constantly be moving. And if you're fishing a specific fish or school of fish, the trolling motor is going to be moving. So you have to do something different. They have, and you look at this is the way Dennis has this set up. He has a mount on each side of his boat that he can control by hand. Now, you can buy those very reasonably. They also have some that mount on the trolling motor, some mount on the boat that has a small motor in it to where you can move your LiveScope and look back and forth. And it all comes down to what you can afford and, you know, kind of what you like in yours. And so if I upgrade to a trolling motor that has spot lock, and I plan to do that in the near future, if I do that, I'll have to change the way my LiveScope is set up. Now let's look at how this is a Garmin 93 SV. I have it setting up about 12 inches just so I can see it. And so this is kind of my view when I'm looking straight down at the trolling motor. I can see which way the eye is turning with my foot. And look at the school of crappie right there up under those shad. There, boom. So this is my view as I'm going along and I'm fishing right to left. I can look at the top of the trolling motor, spot it. I can power the trolling motor and go that way. So when I'm holding on a dock, I've got to constantly be moving my foot to control the trolling motor. Now, I'm used to that because that's just the way I've ran a trolling motor for 30 years. And so it really doesn't bother me that bad. Spot lock has its good points and it has some bad points, just like this does have good points and bad points. So not necessarily if you don't have spot lock, you can still have a LiveScope on your trolling motor. And technically, I could have a handheld mount that I could put my hand on and move my LiveScope back and forth, even on this boat. But I choose not to because I like to have my hands free. Sometimes I'll pull the line out, drop a lure down, I'll be casting. So I like to have my hands free. That's one reason, you know, when I put the LiveScope on it, you know, that's a big investment to make as a fisherman. And so, you know, you have to do a little bit at a time, unless you can afford it to buy all of that. Dennis's unit, you can see my unit is a 93 SV, and so it has basically a 9-inch screen. Dennis has I think it's a 12-inch screen, and he's got it setting up higher. One of the advantages, you see, this is my view looking down here. You can see that I can see the fish going, you know, happening, you know, what's happening on the bottom. I can see the fish there, and but I have to lean down and push my dials. I want you to take a look at this clip. Dennis has his on a mount up higher. When he moves, he has to, of course, lower it so it doesn't damage and shake around in the waves. By having the LiveScope up higher, closer to your eye, allows you to see more detail, especially on really bright sunny days. Now, I could mount mine, I could buy a mount and raise mine up, but it's just not necessary. There's no need for me to do that right now till I get a spot lock trolling motor, and I am going to upgrade to a 12-inch screen. So before I do that, I'll just use what I have right now. And so there's no particular right or wrong way to have a trolling motor and to have your LiveScope attached to the shaft, attached to the boat. It's all about personal preference and how you like to fish. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is to show you two different methods, because many people don't have a LiveScope, don't know. They have to do, you'll have to do just like I do. You put it on and you've got to learn it. You've got to go to the lake. And the main thing I can tell you about getting LiveScope is go to the lake. Don't worry about fishing, and just use it. Just go around there. Go to places that you are familiar with, that you know where there's a tree under the water, or a brush pile under the water, or a road bed that you know that's there, and look at it with your LiveScope to see what it looks like underwater. Look at fish, the difference in bass and catfish and crappie, and what they look like on the bottom, so you can learn what your LiveScope will do and won't do. And I just went over another school, a big school of crappie right here, right off of this bank right here. Now, I will say in this video that you've seen, this is only two different ways to set up your LiveScope. There are many different ways that you can set your LiveScope up. Every fisherman's different. Every fisherman has a different need. You may be a tournament fisherman. You may be a weekend warrior, kind of like me. I do these videos to try to help people along, and I learn something every time I go fishing out on the water. And that's the whole reason we watch YouTube, is we learn from each other. Hey guys, I hope you've seen something in the video that you learned. I hope you've seen something in the video that you liked. I hope this video helps people. I know it certainly would have helped me if I'd had this video earlier. That is the reason I'm doing this video. So this is my 300th video. This past June was 3 years since I've been doing this video channel. Like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps us a lot. Please comment. Comment below if you have your LiveScope set up differently, something that it works better for you. Like I said in my video, I'm aiming to upgrade, saving those pennies so I can upgrade to a 12-inch screen and a different trolling motor on my boat. You remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Don't forget to hit that like button. Click that notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Wildlife Adventures. And as always, you remember, it's a wild life, and I'll see you on the water.